there, this is Tam Wendell with Bushcraft on Fire, coming to you from rainy Missouri. We've been speaking of different various medicinal teas, and today I wanted to share with you about a plant that we've spoken about before called Plantain. We're going to be taking a look at broadleaf plantain as well as ribwort plantain. So join me as we go take a look at some of these plantain plants. The first plantain I want to talk to you about is broadleaf plantain, and some time ago I did a video on plantain. I was harvesting the stalks for flour, and I have gathered all my stalks, and the flour is actually pretty tasteless, the seed, but it works just wonderful in thickening soups and sauces, so I've got me a good jar of that. But today I want to talk a little more in depth about this plant. If I zoom in here, you can see the broad shape of it. This type of plant in the broadleaf was called white man's foot by the natives. Wherever the European settlers traveled, this particular type of plantain would spring up, so they would call it the white man's foot. Now this type of plantain is called ribwort plantain, and I'm going to zoom in here and show you the back of a leaf. You can see the ribs in the leaf, and it has a long stalk with the seed head on top here. Now this particular plantain, as well as the other broadleaf plantain, were used by many native tribes. The Iroquois would take both the broadleaf and the ribwort plantain, and they would pound these leaves and use them as poultices for wounds, coughs, colds, and bronchitis. And the Meskwaki natives would take the root of the plant, and they would use it for a remedy for taking down a fever. Many different native tribes would use this particular plantain to use the root, and they would mix some of the leaves, but mostly the root, and they would actually make a poultice to take the poison from the bite of a rattlesnake. So it's a pretty amazing little plant. Alright, I've pulled the plantain we were just looking at, and you can see the roots here. They're very fibrous roots. So they would remove these roots, obviously clean them, and apply them to rattlesnake bites. The reason I chose to pick this plant to share with you today is I'm just extremely excited about this plant. When I was studying it out, I read an article where they called this ribwort a golden thread, and it was used to bind wounds together. And it went on to say, as rust cannot stay on gold, so any type of infectious matter can't live on this ribwort plantain. And I had actually begun a movie the other day, and one of our dogs had received a wound about that long, and I turned the dog over and was going to apply this plantain to it, but it really looked horrible, and I said, I can't do this. I can't show our viewers this nasty wound, and it had been too late to take to the vet. But I went ahead and I crushed this plant, and I'm pleased to be able to tell you that in 2 days this wound has healed over 75%. There's no infection in it. It's just an awesome healing plant. Alright, here's our dog Nutmeg, and she's the one that received the injury, and actually she has a cut that ran to here, and this entire portion was flapped open. So we applied the poultices of the ribwort plantain, and it just miraculously fused back together again. There's no infection in the wound, and we continue to put these poultices on. We leave it on for a while and then take it off again. Well, that's Nutmeg, and she's doing much better, and we just wanted to share with you the wonderful healing power of ribwort plantain. If something were to happen, if you received a cut, immediately find yourself this ribwort plantain, the long one, not the broad, and chop it up. Well, what they suggest actually to do is to take these leaves and crush them, whether you pound them with rocks or you just crush them. You get what is called a sap out of the leaves. That sap is where the medicine is at. Now, if you can't, at certain times a year, the leaves don't have as much sap as in fall. Everything goes back down to the roots. You can just take these, crush them either in your blender or using a mortar and pestle, crush them and just take a wad of this crushed ribwort plantain and place it directly on the wound. So I hope this helps some. You can use this as teas. You can dry the leaves and use them as teas, and that helps a lot with bronchial type colds, asthma and such. I'm Chan Wendell with Bushcraft on Fire, thanking you for joining us for this short video, and stay tuned, we'll be coming out with some more videos. You have yourself a wonderful day.